Hey everybody, it's your friend James Shaw. Trust you're doing okay. We are doing what we always do, which is talk to elite people who do elite things. And you know what I believe. If you've been hanging out with us for any period of time, you know that I believe that real estate is a community-based business where your job is to be a connector of your community, add value to your community, pour into your community. And if you put your community first, the business will come. And Cynthia agrees with me, and that's what she's doing at a high level. Good morning, Cynthia. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great.
Awesome. Tell us about who you are, where you are, and a little bit about your business.
Wonderful. So I am in Atlanta, Georgia. I specialize in the in-town market and Decatur. And I've been in business for 15 years, and I've built my entire business on making sure to focus on my community and making sure that we are always taking care of them and they end up taking care of me.
And it's working because you sell about a house a week. So it's working for you at an elite level. And is it just you, or do you have others that work with you?
I do have some leverage with admins and a transaction coordinator, but I am the only realtor.
You're the salesperson. You're going on the listing appointments. You're driving the buyers around, and yet you're, like I said, selling a house a week. So you know what you're doing. And you're a community-based, sphere referral-based business.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And is that just because people know you and you're so visible in the community? How do you create a business that is so focused on that?
So I always loved my very specific neighborhoods and was very involved prior to getting into real estate. And basically, I took the way that I felt and believed that things should be done and continued to build that into my business as time went on. So I volunteer, I participate on different boards, I'm involved with schools, I'm involved with neighborhood related activities. It's a pretty small little area, but I try to go really deep. And so people know me and they know that this is my specialty.
It's really great. And you know, you did close to 900,000 in GCI last year by putting a focus on your community. Is that the secret for a solo agent? Is to, you know, because I see you're in Atlanta. You could sell homes from here to here and here to here, but you choose to keep it right here. Is that the key for a solo agent? Is go all in on this tiny little piece and just dominate it?
I believe that it is. I think that it's really hard to be all things to all people. And so, if you are able to really find your niche and focus on that, if you have two signs in a neighborhood, people see you as, I see your signs everywhere, because it's a more focused, specific area. So, versus having 30 minutes one direction and another 30 minutes the other direction.
And it's easier to service the business that way as well.
So much easier. And in
Mhm.
Atlanta, especially because people basically consider about a third of the state Atlanta. And so that's why anytime you see something come up on one of the Facebook groups, there's immediately like 500 messages.
Yeah.
And the challenge is that you really don't know those specific areas. And especially in the in town market, it's a challenge to really dig deep and understand the nuances
Mhm.
of why one community has a higher value than another, or why one school district is changing, or even to have the reputation and understanding with other agents who specialize in that area
Mhm.
is really, really important. And it gets really deep when, especially in this particular area.
Well, and Atlanta is an hour from Atlanta, so it's, you know, it's a big place. But I think what you're teaching us is honestly it's true in really any city or town or community that. And I live in the Tampa Bay area, and I will see people post on a Facebook group, I need an agent in Tampa. And my question is where? Like, what do you mean by Tampa? Because it's a big place. And in fact, they might even not be talking about Tampa. They might be talking about this little tiny part in St. Pete, which is not, you know, but so it's narrowing it down and getting really thin. And I think you've done a good job on that. So if you were going to give agents tips on how to dominate their community so they, like you, can, you know, make almost $900,000 and sell a house a week, what would those tips be?
I think the biggest thing you can do is to come from a really genuine place. So if you are coming into a community and people think that you're participating or getting involved specifically for business, they'll know that in a second. You have to be really genuine about what you're doing. And so the first thing that I say is really important is to make sure that you are understanding the different areas and figuring out how you can plug in. I always start with volunteer, get to know people, figure out what's important to that specific area, and then you can go deeper from there. And as you build those relationships and as people understand how they can utilize you and that you're somebody who's really willing to really jump in and do whatever it takes, then they will reach out to you to be able to do so. So I would have things, when I was really involved in the elementary school, where if I was a sponsor for the Olympics, which was their big fundraising event that was kind of like a field day, rather than just giving money and putting my name out or having my logo out, I would talk to them and say, what can I do that would be beneficial? And as we talked through different ideas, one of the challenges was that they really would love to have coffee since it's super early in the morning and there's volunteers and there's teachers, and that would be really helpful. So I set up a big coffee stand and made sure that we had some treats. And that was really just specifically for volunteers and teachers. And when you do things like that, it gives you opportunities to continue to have conversations. It also shows that you are somebody who's willing to jump in and participate in the community and not just put your name on something.
Well, I think it's really smart advice. It's the difference of being a transactional agent and being a relationship agent. Both can be successful. You're choosing to be a relationship builder. And that example of what you did at the school is a good example of that. What are some other key ways to build relationship inside your community and truly connect with people?
Another situation that I get involved in, there's movie nights in the park, and we've done this over the years. We took a break and we just started it back up again. And I was a sponsor of that previously. I'm now the presenting sponsor for it. And it is something where we have it in the neighborhood, and they would have multiple movies. And the challenge was people knowing that those movies were going to happen. And so instead of just putting out social media posts saying this is going to happen, I created a magnet with a calendar of the events that was a postcard that went out to everybody in the community so that they could keep the schedule close at hand. And I think that was really helpful to be able to make sure that they kept up with it. It gave the movie night people exposure so that they were able to get people in the door.
Oh, that's great. Again, giving back is so important. So you do a lot of different community things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of your big ones is an event that you do around the holidays, this gingerbread thing. And as I've learned about it, this is quite the event, but it's a big hit. How did you pick to do it? And then what we're going to do is step by step, I like to say NKOTB this for people. We're going to give you step by step of exactly what to do. But how did you pick that type of event to begin with?
I was looking for an event that would resonate with the community, that wasn't a religious specific event, so that it would be more inclusive, and that was something that would be fun, that related back to real estate. And so I loved the idea of building gingerbread houses. And so I created this event. This will be my 10th year doing the event. And we invite 150 children. We provide them with little individual gingerbread houses that are already built and ready to go. We give them everything that they need to decorate it. So we have it set up with various tables, and it's all related back to real estate in one way or another. So there's 4 different versions of the house. We have them all lined up with a sign that says "Choose Your Home." As a side note, in the little gingerbread house, there's a Cynthia Bear logoed sticker that's on the front that looks like it's kind of like a little for sale sign.
It's cute.
And then we have the building supplies. So then you have all of your every kind of candy, anything that you need to be able to decorate with. It's kind of a ridiculous candy land that we set up. And then we have the construction zone, where you go and you actually put it together and build. And then you have the place where you can share it. And we have the ability for people to win different prizes. And then we also always do a drawing for a giant gingerbread house. And it's a lot of fun. It's become a part of people's holiday events that they look forward to every year. And even during COVID, we kept it going with a pickup version because people really loved it and didn't want it not to happen. And then on the flip side of that, we always have a charitable contribution piece to it, so that we're always still giving back to the greater community. And so it's a free event, but you have to register, and then you have to agree to bring an unwrapped toy or gift card for Wellroot, which is a a foster care family service.
Oh, this is great. And there's a lot to unpack. So I'm going to go bit by bit on this. First thing is every event you do has some sort of community charity or giving back component to it.
The majority.
Why is that so important, do you think?
I think it's really important for people to see that you are always trying to provide opportunities for other people who may need that. So it's more than just real estate. It's more than just our community. It's how do we give back to others? And so, like for Pi Day, I do a blanket drive for a local group that has come to look forward to that every year, but trying to find ways to always continuously give back, and in a way that makes people feel like they're connected and involved at a deeper level. And it's not just a gift to them.
It's great. Now this thing sells out every year, 150 people, but listen, you got to get all the stuff, you got to get the space, you've got to get all the supplies, you get all the things. So there's cost there. What does this cost you? And then how are you covering the cost?
It costs around $5,000. And to be honest, I could cover it if I needed to, but I typically bring in sponsors. I have a lender who usually contributes the majority of it. And then I have secondary sponsors that I bring in that I'm able to promote them during the event and be able to share all of their contact information. And usually they're willing to come and help as my elves so that they are volunteering at the event and they get a chance to meet people as well.
Oh, that's so great. I love that. So getting the sponsorship in to cover it. But again, a lot of people will look at $5,000. Look, if you're focused on giving back to the community and pouring in and you're selling a house a week, this is $5,000 is not a big deal. It's actually a pretty good return. And yet to involve other, like-minded people in your community to help offset some of the cost is really smart too. Now, absolutely. You give away a prize, yes?
Yes.
And is that always a component of your stuff?
Often. Yes.
Yeah, because what I'm noticing is a pattern, right? First, it's involve the community in some way by giving back. So you're using the event to give back. So if we're planning an event like this, all right, how can we, as we support our network and our database, how can we also support our community and people want to help? So that's number one. Number two is involve your vendor partners because they want to contribute as well, and they're not afraid to do that. And again, you're giving back to them by getting them in contact with others who might need their services. And then the third part is, something exciting like a prize or a giveaway of some way. So tell us about your prize that you do for this gingerbread house event.
So for gingerbread, I actually have a giant gingerbread house that we give away. It's something to behold because it has like candy cane window panes and lights on the inside, and we put the family's name as a placard on it, and it's a really, really cool piece. Now granted, the challenge with it is that not everybody wants a giant gingerbread house to take home, but for the most part people are really excited about it. And when they come in, we have them register to win the big prize. And on that registration form, in addition to, their basic information and questions about, how they feel about me, I give them a scale of, how likely they'd be to work with me. What would it take for them to want to work with me if I'm not a 10? And then I also ask for the next 3 people they know who are looking to buy or sell a property. And so we are also able to gather referrals.
That's really good. It's genius what you're doing. I am totally with it. I think this is the best way to run a real estate business is keep it hyper local, go all in on supporting it, give back as much as you can, be as visible as you can, and the business will come to you. Pour into the community and the community will pour back into you. What are some final thoughts or tips you'd want to share with everybody?
So I think the biggest thing is that the gingerbread event's a big event. I mean, it takes a lot of coordination. It has a high dollar amount to get involved, but that is not where I would start if I were interested in getting into this. I would start with something very small. I'd find ways to, how can we connect people who want to get to know each other? How do we make our community better? Is it a volunteer situation? Is it a get together? Is it somebody in the community that we can draw other people to them to be able to make it a connection? So it doesn't have to be expensive. it doesn't have to be hard. It could be something very easy to get started and start making those connections. So look at that type of big event, but then figure out that like that's not where you have to start. You can start with these little opportunities to build up to something like that.
Yeah, I like it. It's really good stuff. Cynthia, I'm proud of you. I'm honored that you'd come and jump on with us. Congratulations on the success you're having, and thank you for giving back to your community.
Thank you.